A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. We are reading the book of Fazail-e-Amaal, stories of the Sahabah. This is chapter number 3, the abstinence of the Sahabah raziyallahu ta'ala anhu. And this is story number 4, Hazrat Abu Bakr raziyallahu ta'ala anhu's daily allowance from the Baitul Maal. Baitul Maal is the treasury. So Hazrat Abu Bakr raziyallahu ta'ala anhu earned his living by his trade as a cloth merchant. After being selected as the Khalifa after the demise of Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, after the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam passed away, he was proceeding to the market as usual the next day with some clothes slung on his arms, when Hazrat Umar raziyallahu ta'ala anhu met him on the way. "Where are you off to, Abu Bakr?" asked Hazrat Umar raziyallahu ta'ala anhu. "To the market," came the reply. "Who will carry out the duties of the Khalifa if you get busy with your trade?" Hazrat Umar raziyallahu ta'ala anhu asked further. "How then am I to feed my family?" Hazrat Abu Bakr raziyallahu ta'ala anhu inquired. Hazrat Umar raziyallahu ta'ala anhu then suggested, "Let us go to Abu Ubaidah, who is in charge of Baitul Maal, to fix some daily allowance for you from the Baitul Maal." They both then approached Hazrat Abu Ubaidah raziyallahu ta'ala anhu, who fixed an allowance for Hazrat Abu Bakr raziyallahu ta'ala anhu equal to that which was being paid to an average muhajir, like an average laborer. On one occasion, the wife of Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu expressed to him her desire to prepare a sweet dish. Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, "I have no money to arrange for the dish." "If you permit," his wife explained, "I shall try to save something daily from our allowance, which will someday be enough to prepare the sweet dish." He agreed, and it was after many days that sufficient money was saved. When his wife brought him the money to make purchase for the sweet dish, Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu said, "It seems that we have received this much in excess of our needs." He then deposited the saving in the Baitul Maal and had his allowance cut down by the amount saved. A narration of Bukhari from Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha states that when Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu became the Khalifa, he said, "My people know well that I was a businessman and my business sufficed to see to the needs of my family. Now I have to devote my time to the affairs of the state. My family's expenses will be paid from the Baitul Maal." Hazrat Aisha radhiyallahu ta'ala anha also relates that when Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anha was about to pass away, he instructed her to hand over to his successor all that was issued to him from the Baitul Maal for his household needs. Hazrat Ans radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu reports that Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu left no money in his estate. All that remained was a camel used for its milk, a bowl, and a slave. Another narration adds that he also left a shawl and bedding. When all of these were made over to his successor, Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he remarked, "May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala have mercy on Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu. He also set a precedent for his successors, which were very hard to follow." So that was the Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu's daily allowance from the Baitul Maal. And now the fifth story is about Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu's daily allowance. Hazrat Umar radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu was also a businessman by trade. When he became the Khalifa after Hazrat Abu Bakr radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu, he gathered the people and said to them, "I used to earn my living through trade, but now that you people have engaged me as Khalifa, how will I now earn my living?" Several people suggested various amounts for his daily allowance from the Baitul Maal, but Hazrat Ali radhiyallahu ta'ala anhu did not speak. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu then asked, "What is your suggestion, O Ali?" Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu replied by saying, "I suggest that you take an amount that will be moderately sufficient for your family." Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu accepted his suggestion, and such a moderate amount was fixed as his daily allowance. Some time later, when some Sahabah radiallahu ta'ala anhu included Hazrat Ali radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Usman radiallahu ta'ala anhu, Hazrat Zubair radiallahu ta'ala anhu, and Hazrat Talha radiallahu ta'ala anhu proposed that the allowance be increased since it was too meager an amount. None dared suggest it to Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu. They therefore requested his daughter, Ummul Mumineen Hazrat Hafsa radiallahu ta'ala anhu, to gauge his reaction to the suggestion without mentioning their names. When she discussed it with Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu, he became angry and said, "Who are the persons making this suggestion?" Hazrat Hafsa radiallahu ta'ala anhu, however, beseeched him to first state his opinion. To this, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu said, "If I knew them, I would smite them on their faces. Tell me, Hafsa, what was Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam's best dress in your house?" And she replied, "It was a pair of reddish brown clothes which Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam wore, like he wore on Friday, or while receiving some envoy." She replied, "And what was the best of food that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever took at your house?" He asked further, and she replied, "Simple barley bread was the only food we used to take. One day I scraped up whatever I could from an empty butter tin and put it on his bread. Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ate it with much relish and even offered it to others." Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu questioned her further, saying, "And what was the best bedding that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam ever used in your house?" Hazrat Hafsa radiallahu ta'ala anhu replied, "It was a piece of thick cloth. In summer it was spread in 4 layers, and in winter it was spread in 2 layers, with the half spread underneath and the other half covering him." "O Hafsa," Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu then exclaimed, "Go and tell these people that Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam has set a standard by his personal example, and I must follow him. My example and that of my 2 companions, Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam and Hazrat Abu Bakr radiallahu ta'ala anhu, is like that of 3 men traveling on the same road. The first man started with a provision and reached the destination. The second followed the first and joined him. Now the third is on his way. If he follows their way, he will also join them. Otherwise, he can never reach them." And there is a note about this. "Such is the life of the person who was feared by the monarchs of the world. What a simple life he lived. He was once delivering the khutbah when it was noticed that his lower cloth had as many as 12 patches, including one of leather. When he once arrived late for his Jummah Salah, he addressed the congregation saying, 'Please do excuse me. I got late because I needed to wash my clothes and had no other clothes to wear.'" Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu was having his meal when Utbah bin Abi Farqad asked permission to see him. Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu allowed him in and invited him to share the food with him. However, the bread was so coarse that Utbah could not swallow it. "O Umar," he said, "why do you not use fine flour for your bread? Can every Muslim afford fine flour for his bread?" Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu asked. When Utbah conceded that every Muslim could not afford it, Hazrat Umar radiallahu ta'ala anhu remarked, "Alas, you wish that I fulfill all my pleasures while I am in this world." There are thousands of such stories about the illustrious Sahabah radiallahu ta'ala anhu. Everybody should not try to imitate them, for we lack the physical strength of those people. It is for this reason that the Sufi sheikhs of our time do not recommend such exercises which tax the body too much, since people are already low in physical strength. We should, however, aspire to lead such lives so that we may start wanting less and lower our sights on this world. We may then be able to adopt some moderation and not plunge headlong into the luxuries of this world, lamenting every time we notice someone having more than us. So we'll conclude with these two stories about these two great men and how they were used to stay away from the luxuries and lead a simple life. Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.